Husband is my guy.
Okay.
Okay. In my registration, then I met him. And then I said hello to him, and he was, hello, how are you? And he was doing like one, big brother kind of. And I'm like, maybe this guy, they our area. There was no time he was coming to my family house that he did not buy something for my mom.
I hope you guys are hearing. Hi people, how we doing? A pleasant day to you. I hope you're having a great time. You're welcome again to another episode from the R4M studios, and I remain prolific. Today we have an amazing guest, a beautiful guest. She's an enigma, and she's going to be unveiling a whole lot about herself. And today also happens to be a very special day for her. We're going to find out about that much later. But for now, we're just going to go straight for her to let us know who she is. All right, so we'll meet her at this juncture. Good morning to you, ma'am.
Good morning.
All right, so please let us know your name and what you do.
Okay, my name is Zainab Caino. A mother, a wife, a lover of God, and everything in between.
Wow.
Thanks for having me.
It's really a delight to have you this episode from the R4M studio. So she says she's a mother, she's a wife, a lover of God, everything in between. I'm curious. So first off, of course, you were a wife before you became a mother.
Yes.
So what was it like for you before you got married? Did you have a picture? Did you get married to the picture you had in your mind, or what was it like? What was the journey for you like?
Oh, well, nothing like whatever it is you dream about. As young girls, you picture a whole magazine kind of love story. You picture a whole lot. Oh, this is what I want to be. This is how I want my family to be. But um, those dreams are theories. But by the time you get married, the practical aspect of life then begins to hit you. So yeah, I would say it's good to dream, but it's also good to know that not all dreams come
Come
true.
true.
Yeah.
Come true. So in a nutshell, you're saying you weren't exactly rigid about it. You didn't even really have a dream.
Oh, I did. Every young person would have a dream. I knew that I wanted to marry somebody who loved me first and foremost, right? Because I knew that for the longest, I always did not think so much about money, right? So that's me, right? But um, of course, you would want to be comfortable,
Yeah.
and you want somebody who would respect you, right? I didn't understand that in those terms at the time. I just knew that I was going to be happy. Because when people say, oh, marriage is hard, I would always say, no, ours will not be that hard, because I was a positive thinker. I would say, no, our mind would have to be different. But it's a total ball game altogether when you begin the marriage itself, when you find out, there are so many little triggers that you would not even have thought are triggers. But the beautiful thing about it is, first of all, if you have somebody who is loving and who is understanding and who has the utmost fear of God, so everything begins to fall in place, because he then would not treat you, no matter what your burdens are, he won't treat you as you. He would say, if you have a man who would say, if not because of God, then wetin I for do you, So if that would have you kind of covered.
Yes.
But it still doesn't mean that you have the manual.
Sure.
Right? So there's so many things have to give. There are things that you must by yourself compromise to. You must say, because he complains about these things so much, I would try my best not to do them. So I keep saying all the time, I don't know if we've gotten there, but I keep telling anybody who cares to listen, whoever, whether you're married or you're not married, I keep saying one thing. I said, I say that do not look at the other person. In as much as a marriage is about two people coming together, I still feel that the work is on yourself first. You know, there's this famous preaching I like, a term I like to use, like, be the Bible you want others to read. So when you walk in a certain way, people would just fall in place without having you to talk to them about it. So if you want a particular thing from your spouse, you have to first be that thing. If you do not want your spouse to be complaining about every little thing, you also would have to stop complaining about every little thing. So by the time I'll be using myself more, because it was what I have worked on and I have seen that has come to a success, right? So if I worked on myself, and I began to see the roses.
One of the major highlights for me from what you've said is the fact that whatever you want to have, you should be that thing first off, and then it has a way of compelling the other person, in love to become. So I'm curious. So we're talking about you being a mother, you being a wife, and someone's probably listening and is wondering, is she married to a ghost? Is this husband? So please let us know how did you meet your husband? Who is your husband?
My husband is my guy.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I've been married for 12 years right now, but I've known him, we dated for about 6 years before we got married, and I knew him before then. We kind of grew up in the same neighborhood, but we didn't used to talk and all. But then I now gained admission to school, and during my registration, then I met him. And then I said hello to him, and he was, hello, how are you? And he was doing like one, big brother kind of. And I'm like, maybe this guy there our area. And then somehow I was having issues with my registration, and he helped me. He was in 400 level at the time. And after which, they say the rest is history. We dated. He now went to serve, and then we broke up for a bit. You know what they say about service now, and I probably couldn't handle it, or he was not doing enough, but then we later reconnected and immediately got married. I think after the reconnection, we did not date up to a year again before we got married. My husband is from Kaduna State. I'm from Adamawa State, but born and brought up here.
My two favorite states.
Oh, really? Oh, nice. Then, yes, his name is Cafra Caino. He's a politician, a young, correct guy, really.
He has to be fine.
He has no option. Cannot follow. Person has to be fine, Yes, and then we've had something beautiful, not so beautiful, not blossoming beautiful. I don't want to deceive them and say that, oh no, it was all roses, But there were difficult times. There were times we really, really struggled, but we pushed through.
So I'm curious, at what point were you sure you wanted to, spend the rest of your life with this man? Was it after the breakup, when he went for service? Service, things they happen, things they occur, and then, so at what point did you have that highlight, that conviction that I want to spend the rest of my life with this person?
Yes, I would answer that, but I would while growing up, when anybody asked me out, we used to call it toast at the time. I don't know what Gen Z's call it now, but when anybody toasted me, I looked at what we would become. I would not date you because I want to date you. I usually would date somebody I could marry. But he didn't ask me out. We relationship just started. Yes, there was nothing like the period of, oh, please, can I get your number and everything.
Wow.
Things just flowed. The day he asked that the day he wanted to help me with marriage, maybe it was his tactic. Who knows? Right? Thinking of it now, the day he was going to help me with my registration, he didn't even ask for my number. He just asked that his friend who was going to help me, who was in the same faculty as I was, collect my number. And somehow, I now saw him again, and he said, "Oh, how did the registration go?" And I told him, "Oh, yeah, fine." I don't know at what point he got my number, but I knew that, oh, it was at orientation. We went for orientation. It was the day he got my number. So the first time we really talked about it, he just said, "Me, I don't know what you're doing, no, but me, I want to marry you." And it melted my heart. And it was somehow a pickup line at the time, but it wasn't for me. I believed him. And there was a gesture he always did that just made me know that he was just the one. There was no time he was coming to my family house that he did not buy something for my mom.
I hope you guys are hearing. Sorry to interrupt you, but we had this particular live show, and we talked about 7 things that spices up your relationship. And then I said a whole lot of things, and it sounded so far-fetched. Then I now said, don't ever swing your hand to go and meet woman. This gesture.
Yes, it's the thought, he would, because even at the time we broke up, he was still going to see my mom. Like, he would go visit my mom and buy something for her.
Wasn't that torture? How did you break up with the girl? So he
I
actually
was in school.
established a
A
good
relationship with my mother.
Awesome.
Yes,
Awesome.
he did. And then maybe when anybody came to look for me, my mother would be like, "You're wasting your time, dear." Do you understand? So one Valentine, I was not around. He went to the house and he dropped a gift for me. And my mom now said, "Oh, Cafra Yazofa, I should check on her bed. It's there." And I now called him. I said, "Why are you buying me a Valentine gift if we're not together?" Then he now, but time to time, he would send me a message. Say, "Whatever it is you do, just remember that you're going to be somebody's wife tomorrow." And I'm like, "What are you saying? We're not together. So what's
It's
the
the
whole..."
it's the pomposity for me. This guy, he was so certain.
Yes, he was
Wow.
certain, and
Wow.
I think that was what was it for me.
Wow.
He didn't even have to ask twice,
Mm.
and he's big on surprises. He likes spontaneity, and all of that.
Wow.
So my engagement was talk of town. He likes to make a big deal when it has to do with me. So it was there was really no. It just had to be him. Like, there was no one else.
That's such a fluid relationship.
Yeah.
Let me fast forward to, you mentioned he's a politician, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so let me fast forward to being a politician and being a wife. Do you have your house to yourself? Like politicians, is he able to strike that balance? And if he always has people around, how do you juggle being a wife? How do you show up? Are you another, like, how would I say, a background picture, and then he's the politician, or you guys walk through together?
Okay. This might come off somehow, right? But politics is him. It's his life. Is his career. Is what he likes to do. You get, because of especially because of where he's from. He just feels the need that somebody has to stand up and be the voice that they do not really have, right? I have a corporate job, and so he's not all up in my business, right? So he has been able, the scale cannot be 50-50, but he has been able to, the best of his ability, shield us from it, right? So it's difficult for your wife not to be present when you're a political person, but somehow I'm not so present, but it works, because he has established the fact that I have a job and I must do it. If he's trying to make a better person of his society, he would not tell me to skip my job, not go to work, just because I want to follow him around, right? So I have my own together. Yeah. I have the children together. So we're not actively, in politics like him, but we support the best way we can. We try to live well, the best of our ability, such that it does not show him in a different light. So I would say yes, I still support, I am a political person, because I try my best to be the person he would want me to be, such that it does not affect him, such that he doesn't have to double work on me and say, oh, they're talking about him and they're still talking about me. So a lot of people don't even know me as much as, because I'm just a background, I'm a faceless person, but he's always the forefront.
And this is beautiful. Understanding brings this balance. So I know my place, you know your role, I know my role, and then we're able to flow in sync. And that's really encouraging to hear, because I know a couple of people, come into power, and then, the wife has to pause her life. And then you forget that, I had personal goals, and then my personal goals should be able to find expression in our couple goals.
Yeah.
So this is really encouraging. And for those watching, I hope we're learning. And, being married to someone, first off, you should marry to your friend.
Yeah.
How many kids do you have?
We have 3 too.
3. So you're not trying to make babies every day. You guys talk,
Yeah.
So marriage, you talk. So imagine marrying someone who is not your friend. Let's come to being a mother. You've talked about your husband, being a wife, supporting your husband. How do you juggle? Because man, children. It's like the moment you have a child, you don't have a life anymore. You are living for a child. So, and then you have 3 kids, and you have a corporate job, and then you have a busy political husband. How do you do it?
He's a busy politician.
Okay.
But not a busy political husband. He is never busy for us. People ask me, how do you get your husband to be there? Right? So, because I know the kind of schedule he has, I am not demanding. I'm not saying, oh, you have to be here, you do. I ask him, what is your Saturday like? This may be on Monday. Do you understand? The problem with marriages is that because you are married to somebody, does not mean that he's inclined to do your bidding. Right? He also has a life. And he also must succeed if you want to enjoy the marriage, right? So we schedule it like though it's corporate work. I'll say Saturday by 10, we want to all go out. What's your Saturday like? So because I've told him on Monday, he too knows that he must try, to make sure that Saturday is free for us. Or he'll be like, oh, no, not Saturday. Let's do it Sunday. Do you understand? But the expectation on spouses is so much. It's so much. And if you can tone it down a bit, like you said, communicate about these things, I don't think it would be so difficult. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So most often than not, we try to put it on the other person and begin to project our deficiencies on that person. So because he is always there, they will be like, the husband, is he not a politician? Yeah, he's a politician, but he's also a father, and he's also a husband. You understand? So juggling the kids is always, there are times when he knows that I am not available and he has to be there. He would make sure, like most of the things that has to do with staying at home or having to, the only problem, the place I struggle till date is homework. He does not like to do homework. I have tried and I have failed. Sometimes you be like, you know that you know how to do these things more. He knows how to like try to push the burden and all, but other than that, once you have realized a strength and a weakness, do not dwell on the weakness. Just move on. If you can handle it, fine. So you see, for homework, I don't even bother because I don't want to be upset. I just make sure I do homework by myself.
The thing about more like entitlement. So when I get married, I just believe my spouse should just shut down for me. I mean, finally I've arrived. What do you think in society? What do you think is responsible for this? What sponsors such mindset? When I get into marriage, I should just be, my spouse should be more or less like a glorified slave to do my bidding. And then when I feel like I do what I can, what do you think sponsors it?
I think it's culture.
Okay.
I think it's our culture and the fact that the man has to be this and the woman has to be this, And again, westernization, right? So you can't have it all, right? So now, because our culture has said that, even the Bible says it, but even the Bible saying it was in context to culture, right? That a man would provide for, his family. Now, with the Western education, females are working more. And then the men are not wanting to step up, So it's the whole roller coaster. I believe that we're just running in circles. You find out that there are times when the wife is trying to, and when you try to take up a role that isn't yours, it becomes difficult, truthfully speaking, and then you take that role up when let me talk from the female perspective now. When the woman works, you find out that the man does not do anything and does not try to put anything down. He doesn't want to bring his own parts, right? Yeah. So you find it that women who are providers, because it is not in the design of things for them to be providers, especially in Africa, So you see that they struggle. You get, and you're sleeping, and you've gone to work from morning till night, and you come back home, and the man is sleeping, and there's no food. You still have to go to the kitchen. It's tiresome. So I keep saying that, in as much as it's not total, it's just money, for goodness sake. In as much as it's not totally wrong to support your man, if you communicate about these things, I believe it will be easier. You say, my darling, you know that I come back home late. Would you not be kind enough to make dinner before I get home? But entitled men will tell you, oh, God forbid, why would I enter kitchen? Because you are. It's the ego thing. And I have said so many times, for people who care to listen, for men, their ego, once you can just brush it a bit, he will do your bidding and ask the people that are telling him you are doing, he will tell them to also do the bidding for you. But because you are so upset, you remove respect. And once you take respect out, a man just feel bruised. You know, he just wants to get back. You know, so you can be in charge without having to tell him that, without having to tell him you are in charge. You get what I mean? So when you have money, it's not a recipe for disrespect, especially my gender. It's not a recipe for disrespect, and it's money. Tables turn like this, you know, table turns like this. So why would you now factor on things that can just change? It's a table thing. You have to first tell your mind, put it in your mind that this is for us as a family, and this is not just for me. This is somebody I loved and I agreed to marry and then start a family with. Because I have money does not mean I should be disrespectful, you know. So you should be able to talk about it. And the men should also be responsive, you know, and not think, oh, is it because it's your money? Is it because money creates a lot of entitlement. I think I've deviated from the question, but I needed to get to this point.
We need this juice too.
About money. But you know, at the end of the day, entitlement would not happen if everybody puts, you know, his quota and then try to say that, okay, this is what we're going to do, this is how I'm going to come in, and then everybody and talk about it. There are things that we talk about, we talk to our friends that we can't talk to our spouses about. Until you're able to talk to your spouse about those things, then you can never ever get it right. You get my point?
Yes.
You know how, so that's how that day he went and he did and he did and he did. You tell him that is how that day you went and you, but respectfully, so that he understands what you're about and he's not imagining stuff, you know. So by the time you keep talking, especially to men are like babies, God bless us. But men are like babies. However you want to do it, you can actually do it. You know, just get the reading of your man and then flow with it. And
awesome.
That's it.
Awesome. So I have just one question, and then you're going to be talking to the people who are watching this particular episode. I'm really learning a lot, making mental notes. So the last question I'd like to ask before we talk to the public is this: if you had an opportunity to do life with someone else, would you take it, or you would do it with this man? And why would you do it with this man, your husband?
I don't even know how to do it with another man, so I won't even tell you. You know the saying about the devil you know is better than the angel you know. I've not seen anybody who has been of immense support, especially to my career, right? Like him. There were times that I had to come home 11 o'clock, 10:30. You understand? And sometimes he'll be like, this will now work now, wow. There are times that I have lost money in the office and he has had to pay back. You know, so, but like I said, somebody as selfless as that, you would not even want to try and think about doing anything else, right? But because we do not know, we cannot answer that. I hope I have answered.
Yes, you have. Yeah. Intelligently so, you have. Okay, so I want you to talk to people who are not married. Two ways. First off, we have people who are scared. There are people who know the kind of person they want to get married to, probably have seen the person, but they're not making the move, you know. So I want to believe you guys didn't have everything you wanted before getting married, of course. No. So I want you to talk to people out there who are scared of getting married, and also people who are dealing with entitlement mentality. I'm sure some people listen to this and they don't even know they've been acting entitled until they hear you talk, you know, this way. And you said something very important, that people who work entitled never bring their own quota to the table. They keep waiting, and then you forget that marriage is about demand and supply. It has to be simultaneous. So please, what's on your heart for people who are not married out there?
Those Gen Zs are.
Gen Zs will come for you. Do you hear me call you Gen Zs on this?
No,
On this episode?
I really need to like talk to Gen Zs. Gen Zs feel like they have it all figured out, right? And unfortunately, I'm saying this with every sense of responsibility. Unfortunately, they do not, right? So first off, if like I said earlier, if you want something out of that someone, you have to be that person. You want somebody who is responsible, you first have to be responsible. You want somebody, and I've realized that people these days don't want to have conversations, don't want to have deep conversations. They like to glide through, you know. There in my time, they would always tell us it's good to know a little about everything,
Sure.
such that when you're talking to people, you know what to say. But right now, all we're about is the superficial. Oh, you want to look good, you want to wear hair, you want to use phone. You know, you're not improving on yourself, you're not trying to get to know the person better. The first question is get money. Get money, So I watched a video on the internet some time back, and a guy was saying that the pressure is just so high. Like, how do you even get married in this situation when somebody will tell you that, oh, if you don't have 20 million, you cannot, do you understand? You cannot marry me. Oh yes, is that their preference? Fine, it's their preference, right? So that's why you have marriages that don't work, because we're it's marriage has now become transactional. It's about what I can get, not about what God has made marriage about, and it's sad, really sad, that you find out that people get into marriages for all of the wrong reasons. And in this generation again, we hear boldly how people tell you, oh no, I don't want to get married. Oh, it's fine. I don't. How can I just go and be dedicated to one person? No, I can't do that.
And taste different soup.
Also very sad. But I won't blame them. The society. I just keep saying that, especially if you have a close interaction with God, you see things differently. However it is the society wants to quote it, wants to sugarcoat it, you would see things differently. So the advice I would give is that people should improve on themselves, both male and female. Improve on yourself. No blame game. If you want to have a rich husband, try to be rich first. And then I heard another one that they will say, the man will say, you want me to give you money? Did your father have money? Do you understand? So like we're now, it's sad. It's really sad. So men also do not want to give in their all, because it's like, oh, she's a gold digger, that's because she wants money. Do you not want money? As a man, do you not want money? So we have to improve on ourselves. We have to start from learning and learning everything, learning the orthodox, let's not just watch the internet and make it our standard. Let's sit down and tell ourselves the truth. In our society, do you understand, what do we want to give back? So by the time you try, pray very well. At the end of the day, yes, things should work out.
Awesome. Just before we let you go, I know we've tried to sap out a lot from your 12 years of marriage. Just before we let you go, what would you like to say about this particular platform, Ready for Marriage? Do you think Do you think this is needed? Do you think we should do this 10 years down the line? Do you think it's worth it having to reach out to people preparing for marriage, because people just wake up and say, oh, like you talked about the 20 million thing. Oh, I'm a man, I'm of age, my parents are on my neck, I think I'm ready to get married. And then you just pick a random person, and or the lady is like, I'm tired of having different men, I want just one man, and you just get married. But we believe in preparing people before you even find a partner. Like you said, becoming the person you want to see in the other person. So do you think this platform, do you think it's worth it? Do you think we should do this later? Do you think?
I think you're not even doing enough.
Okay.
I think it's so needed that you're barely scratching the surface. I started putting up some stuff on my page. I find out that it's for marriage is always a sad story. Always a sad story. When you go to the internet, always a sad story. And then people will tell you different variations of how they interpret the Bible for themselves. I'm speaking about the Bible because that's what I know, so this is not a Christian show or whatever, but it's just my personal belief. I think that we should do more of this, really. I think it's good to get the young people and shaping their minds, because we got that with the church I wedded. We did a whole lot of we did a whole 6 months, I think, of preparatory class for marriage. They talked about almost everything, touched every surface, right? But then we still had issues, right? So why I decided to make it better for myself is because I was sad all the time. When we have issues with my husband, he would be angry, I would be angry. Sometimes we'll go 4 days not talking. Then I now said, I'm tired. We're always going helter skelter, we're one thing or the other. I came back. I like to journal a lot. I feel that journaling helps you you remember anything you put down, right? So I started writing things that he complains about all the time. I filled up a page. I finished about his own complaints to me first before I started doing my complaint to him. And I struggled with half a page. I kept thinking, but they always vex now. Why can't I get it written? So half of the time, the problem is not the other person. The problem is you. I say it even with normal friendships, right? If you want to be true to yourself, you first look within before, looking without. So I'm saying that we should talk about these things more. We should, because the devil is so out with everything he's got. So why won't we come out with all we've got as well? So I won't stop talking about good marriages, and then people would begin, now internet love. There was one time they said me and my husband we do Instagram love. And somebody commented and said, if only you had the opportunity to visit them in their home, then you would know what indeed love is about. I am not about to fake it for anybody. I don't even have the energy. Do you understand? My husband and I can come and then we're arguing about something and you're there. No talk like that. You too, no talk. I say, please, do you understand? We'll trash it out as it comes. Then he can just turn and say, no mind my wife to get problem. Do you get? But the next minute I'm saying, oh sweet, do you think this is okay? Do you? And then you're wondering. That is how I believe. There's no hanky-panky. We don't believe in sweeping things under the carpet. So if your marriage is working, even if your marriage is not working, talk about it. What are those things you want to work in it? The more you talk about it, the more you write it down, the more you become it.
Awesome. Wow. Awesome. So yeah, R for M, this is a big challenge to us. Before we just round off, could you let us know your Instagram handle so we're able to follow up and because we really need to amplify, so much negativity is selling on media, and we really need to amplify our story so that people will also be encouraged and know that it is possible to work it out. So please let us know your Instagram handle.
Okay, my Instagram is at Wawuzi, and Facebook is Zainab Caino.
Okay, at Wawuzi. How do you spell that?
W-A-W, then Z-double-E.
Z-double-E. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So this is all that we can take for today, sadly, but we're really delighted, and we really hope if we call again, you'll be able to make
awesome stuff. I'm very excited to be here. I really want to come back again. I don't mind. Okay, what my husband and I do, actually, we try to mentor people who are about to marry.
Great.
It's not formal, but we check up on them, we ask them how they're doing and all of that. So it is something that is very dear to my heart. I like good stuff. I like positivity. I like Zen spirits, So anytime I'm available.
Great. And if you're watching also, we have spaces. We rent out spaces here for people who'd want to, have their own podcast and all of that, and just really voice out, while they also do the informal, follow-up one-on-one with people. But we're really delighted to have you here today. On behalf of the management and staff of R4M Studios, I want to say a very big thank you, Mrs. Zainab Caino. It's really a delight, just listening to you. It sounds, your husband is really blessed. He's really blessed.
Yes, he is, right?
He's really blessed. Yes. And then on the final note, you're focused, you're driven, but you're also selfless. You also think about the next person, and that's rare in these times that we live in. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all we can take from this particular episode with Mrs. Zainab Caino. Thank you so much for watching. Do well to share this also so other people can subscribe and get to learn and get value. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Are you ready to take your brand to the next level? Are you passionate about sports, debating politics, or even guiding careers? Our state-of-the-art studio is your ultimate creative playground.
We offer seamless audio and video podcasting with our standard professional lighting, 4K camera, and multiple angles to capture every moment.
Amplify your voice with our premium podcast studio for as low as 15,000 naira. Our creative spaces include an interview lounge, a round table setup for debates, and a solo booth for monologues.
Our studio isn't just a space, it is the catalyst for your brand's voice, the very spot where your audience can see and feel your passion.